Hey everyone, this is RJ and welcome again to my channel. It has been a very long time since I last uploaded a video and I'm very sorry for that kasi medyo sobrang busy talaga starting September when I entered school. So for those people who don't know, I'm actually studying here in Estonia and that's the reason why I'm actually here is because I'm studying. I'm taking a Bachelor of Liberal Arts in Humanities and I'm in my final year kaya medyo tight yung schedule tapos maraming activities. So today, I'm going to talk about the basic information about the reason I'm here, which is studying, and how an international student like me ended up here in Estonia. Story time! So back in 2017, I made a decision, a conscious decision. I made a conscious decision to move here in Europe kasi after traveling for almost 2.5 years or almost 3 years actually here in Europe, I just fell in love with the concept of being able to navigate all throughout the different countries here. This way that I thought of was to actually enroll myself and look for a university. Well, my options were either Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, and Norway. So those were my options. Kaya lang, it's just that when I was looking at the curriculum and the programs, their application deadlines have already finished. So I'm in the dilemma to either wait for the program to open the following year or look for an alternative. And that's what I did. I looked for the alternative. So that's why I ended up here in Estonia. There are certain considerations that I was really looking for. So in terms of the hold on. So I was really considering, syempre, at first yung budget, second yung the course program, and third, the living condition of the specific country or the specific city. Trying to search for universities in Estonia or universities in Tallinn. So first result that I got is Tallinn University. So I tried to look for a program which the language of instruction is in English. That's why I ended up studying liberal arts and humanities. Ayun, siguro, it works perfectly for my taste. I ended up taking this program. So when I checked the application deadline, so pasok lahat. My English proficiency test, then I got all my requirements ready, like the transcript of records and diplomas. So I've already prepared for everything. Kaya, yun, when the time came for me to submit all the requirements, naging madali na lang siya. And at the same time, sobrang efficient kasi sa Estonia kasi they would initially ask for the soft copy. So for them to evaluate everything, and then if they would be asking for further information or further documents, then they were going to ask. So that's one thing that I really like about Estonia in general is because it's very efficient. It's so easy other than the applications that I've made with other schools in other countries. Kasi nga, yun, sobrang bureaucratic and sobrang ang daming nilang kailangan na requirements. So the application process went very smooth and it went by so fast that I didn't even actually have time to complain. So I think the application started around February and March for international students. They required for us to do is to send a motivation letter stating the reasons why do you want to study humanities, and there are other questions aside from that. So they also asked us to read specific journals that are related to the program. Tapos during the panel interview, they asked us details about what we've read. So medyo nerve-wracking kasi I was hoping for the interview that it's going to be like a one-on-one interview. But to my surprise, it was in the panel, there were 7 people in each respective departments. So medyo intimidating kasi almost all of them were asking different questions, from basic information about myself to my future endeavors and very particular details when it comes to the reading materials. So sobrang naging wide range yung question and I think I was able to pull it off properly. Kaya yun, I ended up here. After the interview, they've asked us to wait at least a month for them to evaluate the results. Then I waited and then got the result that they're going to push through my application, and then they gave me all the necessary documents for me to apply for the visa. The nearest Estonian embassy is in Georgia, Tbilisi. The day that I got the information from Tallinn University that they were going to accept me, I already booked a plane kasi sobrang excited ako to apply. I spent 10 days in Georgia, waited for my visa, and I went back to Dubai and then packed everything that I have there. Some of them are sent back to the Philippines, tapos yung iba dinala ko dito. So I only have with me one suitcase and then one backpack and then my laptop. That's it. So it's just funny that I was able to pack the years that I've spent in Dubai into 2 bags, and yeah. So when I arrived here, basically I've already made arrangement with the dormitory, and initially I was staying in a dormitory, and then after 1 semester I moved out. I stayed in a private place. So I was able to transfer to a studio apartment. Yeah, so that's where I live right now. So it's quite far from the university. It's still manageable kasi the transportation here for residents, that includes students, are for free. Kaya even though malayo yung distance from school to my place, it's still fine kasi transportation, the tram, buses, and trolleys are for free. So yeah. As for the perception of the locals here towards international students, specifically Asians, are actually, I would say, different in a good way. Kasi, let me explain it. Whenever they see a foreigner, especially like a foreign-looking person like me, like Asian, they would initially ask where I'm from. Tapos whenever I say, well, I'm from the Philippines, they would say, oh, why did you go here? And that's one of the frequently asked questions, why did I choose Estonia? And the answer to that is, I still don't know. So most of the people have already asked me that question. And in fact, I've been asked that question about 53 times already, and I still couldn't figure out the proper and exact answer. It's really difficult to say why I chose Estonia to study and to live. Pero usually, I would say the application process is much faster here. That's why I ended up here. And that's exactly the reason why I ended up here. There's like a mystery that is happening between the application process and me imagining to go here. So yun, siguro, it's just a big coincidence that something collided and poof, here I am. As I said earlier, I'm on my final year. Unlike in the Philippines that we have 4 years as a bachelor's, pero here they only have, I think here and most of European countries, they only have 3 years and then 2 years for master's. So there are so many differences when it comes to the curriculum, and it's quite difficult to pinpoint which is better because it's like comparing oranges and apples. So there are 2 different things. The good thing about studying here in Estonia is they are allowing the students to work for a maximum of there's actually no limit when it comes to the number of working hours, unlike in other European countries na limited lang into, I think, 20 hours a week, which means 5 hours in a day. So unlike here, it's possible for you to work full-time. The priority is always has to be in the school. So for other students who are working part-time, so syempre, you have to just basically manage your time properly in order for you not to have a failing grade. At the same time, siguro, excel in the program that you are studying at and get the benefit of it. So in my case, I actually was able to get initially a full scholarship. Well, not really a scholarship, but more of a fee reduction program in my course. Kaya I was able to continue studying here. Pero ngayon, as of the moment, the average that I have only qualifies me to be paying half of the tuition fee, which is not bad kasi kahit paano. Then the schools here are trying to give the students something in return when it comes to working hard on their studies. In terms of the facilities, mas high-tech in the corona situation. The transition from contact studies to online happened very smoothly. So last semester, hindi kami nagkaroon ng masyadong problema simply because the school administrations and the government were able to assess the problem accordingly and at the same time implement a decision right away. Parang it never came to a point na nagkaroon ng problema when it comes to the transition from going to school to an online base. So for us here in Tallinn University, medyo hybrid kami. Unlike for some universities, they already went full online approach. As for the adjustment, I thought that it's going to be much difficult for me to adjust kasi nga, it's a totally different country. Tapos they speak a different language. Although Estonians actually speak very good English, kaya it became easier for me to communicate properly. Pero yun, when it comes to the actual language itself, they have one of the most difficult language to study. There's really no connection between Estonian language and then English. Kaya, hirap. But nevertheless, there's really the word difficult is something that is only in the head. Kaya if I decide to study the language, I think I'll be able to do it. Pero yun, it will going to take a lot of time and a lot of patience and a lot of practice. Kasi it's hard. Yun lang masasabi ko na hindi siya yung typical, I don't know, basta mahirap. kahit i-explain ko paulit-ulit, that's the only word that I could think of is mahirap. Studying here and living here in Estonia is quite a challenge at first. Siguro it will going to be a bit of a struggle at first, pero later on you will going to have your niche into the community. Tapos for my future endeavors, I'm not really sure what will going to happen for me here, pero I'm just thinking of the positive and taking each day one step at a time. So at this point, my goal is to finish my study and then later on develop my career here. So I don't know. We'll see what will going to happen. Oh my God, wala na akong maisip. So as much as I would like to discuss further this topic, I'm going to cut this short. But anyhow, I will going to definitely update you with some of the information that I've missed siguro on my next and succeeding videos. If ever you decide to actually visit the country, study here, or live here, I'll be putting the links down on the description box below kung ano yung mga websites na pinuntahan ko before, and that really helped me how I decided or how I ended up choosing Estonia other than any other countries here in Europe. So yun. That's gonna be it for me for today, and I'll be seeing you on my next videos.